and welcome back to another video. This one is a lot different to all my usual videos that I do. Obviously I'm not at the stables, I am at home. Oh, my hands look huge in this. Oh, and I've got really bushy hair. Yeah, this is my home. I still live with my parents, so yeah, I am filming from my very small box room. That's a work in progress. But I had planned to film this video at the stables today, but the weather is just awful. It's so windy. You wouldn't have been able to hear me even if I'd filmed it in the tack room. So yeah, I am filming it from my bedroom floor, and I think the last time I filmed a video here was when I did my accident story. So what was that? That must have actually been a year ago. So yeah, 1 year later and I'm still here, still on the bedroom floor. So yeah, and you're actually, as I said, I don't have a tripod, so you're actually balanced up on a load of old boxes and things that I found to kind of get me in the right frame. But yeah, let's crack on, because this is probably going to be quite a long video anyway, so I would recommend getting a cup of tea. I'll be honest again, it's not tea in here, it's Pepsi Max. That's one of the very weird things. One of my weird habits is that I drink everything out of a mug. Can't help it. Everything. Wine, squash, juice, fizzy, all out of a mug when I'm at home. But yeah, so today's video is going to be a Q&A. I put something up on my Instagram and I had a load of questions which I've written down here, and I've got some bits on my phone, and then just included in some things off the back of those questions that I thought you might be interested in anyway. So yeah, hope you got your cup of tea, get comfy, because you're going to get to know me and go a lot better in the next however long this video takes. So if I start with all kind of the horse related questions first, and then we'll get on to the juicy stuff, because I did want to include some non-horsey stuff too, because, well, it's just interesting, isn't it? I thought, you know, it would be nice for you guys to know a bit more about me, a bit about my history, and have some questions about my job. But we'll start with the goat related stuff, because obviously I am Goat the event horse. Well, that's our tag. So the first question, nice and easy one that I got asked, is how big is Goat? And surprisingly, he's actually only 15.2. I'm not sure what he's passported as, but he's definitely not any bigger than 15.2, 15.3. He's actually really little, and he's quite a fine build thoroughbred as well. So yeah, when people meet him, they are usually quite shocked at how tiny he is, because he can photograph quite big. And another question I got was, where did I buy him from? And I did a whole other video about how, like, mine and Goat's history, but I bought him from a lady that had him as a hunt horse. So he had been with her, I don't know how long she'd had him, but I'd been riding him for her. He was on full livery, she would hunt him at the weekends, and I would go and exercise him in the week. And I hadn't had any plans to buy a horse. I'd actually saved up to buy a house, and I spent all of my house deposit on Goat, hence why I'm still on the floor in my parents' house. Yeah. Horses before houses, guys. So yeah, I bought him from there. Before, a little bit of background about him. He had been there hunting, I think she'd had him maybe a year or so. Before that, he actually worked at a equestrian college, and they changed his name. So for that kind of period of his life, he was known as Tono, I believe, which means autumn or something like that, because of the colour of his coat. And then before that he just raced, and I actually have been in touch with his old owner who owned him when he was a racehorse, and he was known as Goaty back then as well, which makes me really happy. And his old racing trainer actually owns Goat's full brother, who's called What's It, and if I can I'll try and insert some pictures of Goat's brother on the screen now. And as you'll see from those pictures, you can definitely tell that they're brothers. So that leads nicely on to, if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notepad, a couple of questions that I got about Goat's racing career, which is actually really funny because he was awful at it. So I got a lot of questions. How many times did he race and how well did he do? So I knew he was awful anyway, but I just got his racing record up on my phone here. You probably can't see it. So he raced, according to this, he only raced 3 times, and he basically came last or second from last every time. Racing's not for him, and knowing him now, that really doesn't surprise me. I actually found an old clip of him racing, which I put on my Instagram ages ago, so the quality is really poor, but again, if I can insert it, if I can be that kind of technical, I'll insert it now.
Down the back straight here in the Nottingham Racecourse.co.uk selling stakes, and the leader is Feed the Goat by a length to Captain Clint in second position, followed in third by Optimistic Duke. Sternian is in fourth.
Poor Goaty, racing wasn't for him. He's just too chilled out for that life. A couple of other questions that I had about Goat. No, actually not even about Goat, about me. How did I get into eventing? So I actually got into eventing through a friend. One of my friends, Carrie, she has evented for as long as I can remember, and I always used to just go and groom for her, and I pretty much learned everything about the sport through helping her, which was the best way, and I just loved it and the buzz. And then when I was in the position to be able to own my own horse, to buy another horse, my other mare would never have evented. When I was in that position, I decided, yeah, I'd go for it, and the rest is history. I had a couple of questions, not only through Instagram, but on some lovely lady commented. I say lady, I don't know it's lady. A lovely person commented on last week's video and said, would I own another horse? And then I had a couple of other questions as well, saying would I have another horse alongside Go, and what sort of horse would I go for if I did. So I would actually love to have another horse alongside Go, and that is one of the goals that I am working towards. It's not going to be in the near future though, because I've got to get a house. But yeah, I would love another one. In the dream world, in a couple of years time, I'd be able to just do kind of pure dressage with Go, just to save his joints and things, and then have another horse to kind of do eventing with. And at the moment, this might change. At the moment, Ella and I always talk about this, like what horse would you have? So I would absolutely love a Connie cross thoroughbred, or like a little pony, basically complete opposite, not another ex-racer, just a little springy pony, a bit like Brock but a bit bigger and not grey, because I never want another grey. My old mare was grey. So yeah, hopefully one day in the future I'll be able to add to my collection of horses. But Goat will never be going anywhere. He'll be with me forever. So if I ever did get another one, it would be adding, not detracting from Goat. He's staying. I had a question about lunging exercises for building muscle. What equipment do I use? So I'm actually going to include this in a whole other video. I think I'm going to do like a whole video around that. But in short, the only bit of lunging equipment I use at the moment, I think it's called a wall hop. No, I'm not even going to try and say it. Basically, it's a bit of rope and it goes over their back, through the front legs, and there's a little ring one thing threads through, and then it clips onto the bridle rings. So it just encourages them to work down and over their back. That's the only thing I use on Goat at the moment. But if you saw last week's video, then you'll know that I was very kindly gifted a bungee pad to try with him, which has got kind of elastic bands that go around his bum and under his belly. So I'm going to try that with him, and yeah, I'm going to do a whole video on lunging, so watch this space for that one. And then the final question, kind of in the horsey category, is how is isolation going with owning a horse? So for those of you who don't know, I'm based in the UK, and we are currently in, I would say we're in a lockdown now due to the coronavirus situation. I would say I'm coping quite well with the isolation, given that when I had my accident last year I was housebound for nearly 2 months anyway, so I'm isolation queen. I've got all my box sets ready. My work, which I'm going to talk about in a moment anyway, my work, I still have to go to work, so I've still got a bit of routine in that. Goat is kept on a private yard and I'm his sole carer, so I still have to go and care for him. So yeah, I mean, I do miss my friends, I miss being able to go out. I'm quite a social person, so yeah, I do miss that, but I understand why we need to do this, and I'm using my time to film videos like this. yeah, I know that kind of when it's all over, we'll just be so much more appreciative of all those things. And yeah, hopefully save lives. So in terms of house isolation going, for me at the moment it's okay. We're only 1 week in. There are going to be tough times, there are going to be better times, and at the moment it's a better time. And it does help that it's a Sunday afternoon, and had a nice Sunday roast before I filmed it. It's not very comfy on the floor, guys. This is not going to be the usual setup, I promise you. This is a one-off. After this we'll be back at the stables in the outdoors, hopefully. So let's talk about now my job and a bit about me. So someone asked me how old I am. I'm 25 and I'll be 26 in June. Yep, I'm over the hill. That's it for me. No, I'm joking. People tell me your late 20s are like your best years, so yeah, I'm cool with that. And then yeah, I got some questions about what I do for a job. So I can't talk about everything that I do kind of job wise because I work in the emergency services, but I'll tell you kind of what I can. I currently work as an intelligence officer, and I've been doing that for the last year, which is kind of an office-based job, and then I'm starting a new job soon where I will become a civilian investigator, which I'm super excited for. It's a bit of a promotion for me, so hopefully that will be starting soon. And you're probably, I think I've spoken about it on here before, but if you've been on my YouTube for a while or following my journey for a while, way back when I started this channel, I was still a serving police officer. So for those of you who don't know, I did 2 and a bit years as a police officer, and I thought it'd be really good to cover a little bit around that because I don't think it's something that's really spoken about, and I did kind of speak at the time about why I left, but I think it would be interesting to talk about. If you're not interested, then just fast forward this bit. So yeah, I was a police officer for 2 and a bit years, and you're probably now all thinking, why did you quit? Yeah, I get that a lot. People struggle to understand why I'd leave, but for me, don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved my job. Like, I loved it. I loved the people that I work with, and if I could do that job now without like losing myself and my life, I would, but I just couldn't balance everything. Like, the work-life balance was so wrong. I would just I remember I used to do Instagrams, and I'd be sat on my Instagram story, I'd be sat at the stables crying because I had been late off work and I hadn't had time to ride go, and I was working every weekend and I couldn't get to competitions. And I just got to the point, it was actually when I had my accident, where I realised there were more important things in life than a job, and that I valued my time with my horses and my family and my friends way above any job. So yeah, it was a really tough decision to make, but it was the right one, and doing that, I don't regret doing it. I learned so much in those 2 years. I saw so much. It's made me a completely different person now, and obviously it's put me in really good stead for the current jobs that I'm doing because I have a lot of experience that I can bring to the table. So obviously I can't talk too much about that time while I was a police officer, but I thought it would be interesting to kind of say what I think best and worst parts of the job were. So for me, I would say, what should I do first? Best or worst? Let's do the worst parts and then we'll end on a good note. So for me, the worst parts were aside from like all the drain on it being like I was working 60, 70, 80 hour weeks. You're technically not classed as an employee, you're not covered by employment law, you're actually a servant of the Crown, so you can have things like your holiday cancelled, your shifts extended when you finish work. So say you were due to finish work at 4 AM, if a job came in, you can't just kind of clock off and go home, you have to stay obviously, and that's fine, everyone knows that, but that is kind of a negative of the job. And I would say kind of it was the emotional side was a bit of a negative for me. So for me, the worst job was agony messages. They were just so awful, and every single one that I did kind of stays with me now. Like, I feel myself tearing up, but yeah, every single one that I did stays with me now. I remember them so well. They're just awful. Like, knowing that you were the person that's kind of brought someone's world down around them, yeah, it's not very nice, but it's a job that has to be done. So yeah, let's move on to the best parts of the job. And the best part of being a police officer for me, without doubt, was the people that I worked with. You do become a family. I'm still really close friends with everyone who was on my team when I was a police officer. You bond in ways that you don't bond with other people, because you see things and experience things that just aren't normal. It's like something out of a film when you're there, in all honesty. So yeah, the best parts for me are that, and the gratitude from the public. When you've been to a job and you've really worked hard and you've gone out of your way to help someone, and then kind of a couple months later they'd write in, or they'd catch you out and tell you, or tell your sergeant. That for me was one of the best parts of the job. So yeah, if you are interested in joining the police, I hope that maybe helps you a little bit. Like I said, I absolutely loved the job, and the only reason that I left was because I just couldn't find a work-life balance, and I put my family and my horse before work. So yes, I'm going to say a lot. I realise that when I edit these back that I say and so a lot. Not good. And then oh, I just did it again. For God's sake, Catherine, stop. The last little section of things that I got questions about, that I asked if anyone was interested in, was my my weight loss. So I don't know if you've noticed, I mean, hopefully you've noticed, I'm quite a little bit lighter than when I started vlogging over a year ago. And I popped a story up on my Instagram a couple of days ago saying, would anyone be interested in kind of the process that I went through, why I did it, all that kind of thing. And there was a unanimous yes. So let's start with the most obvious question that I got asked. How much weight did you lose? Oh, people love that question, don't they? So I'm not going to tell you numbers, because numbers on the scale like don't mean anything. Like, you don't need to know how much I weighed then and how much I weigh now. But I lost around 2 stone. I think like, weight fluctuates every day, but I'm definitely near enough around 2 stone lighter than I was this time. Not, I would say, kind of July I was at my biggest. When I went to the summer games was when I was at my biggest. And then moving on from that, the next question I got was why, what kind of spurred you on, what was your motivation? So I'll be completely honest, my weight loss initially started through stress. I went through a really tough breakup. Oh, I'm gonna get upset. Honestly, when you sit down and talk about these things, it just brings like all the emotions to the forefront, because you get taken back to kind of where you were in that moment and in that headspace. So yeah, I went through a really awful breakup, and that breakup, unfortunately, basically my fault, didn't end. It wasn't a clean cut kind of, it was ongoing all the way through until the beginning of this year. Yeah, if you want love advice, my one piece of advice is, if it doesn't work the first time, it ain't ever gonna work, guys. As awful as it is, what's the old saying, don't flog a dead horse, or that's an awful saying, but there's a saying like that out there. But yeah, that's a whole another story, and one I'm not going to go into, because obviously it's not fair on me to talk about that, because there's a whole other person involved and someone else's feelings and whatnot. But yeah, so my weight loss started from that. It was from the stress. I go one of 2 ways when I'm stressed. I either eat everything in sight, or I don't eat at all, and that's kind of what I went into. It took me completely by surprise. I would say I went into shock. I didn't really eat for a couple of weeks, which is not healthy. Do not do that. And yeah, so it started like that, and then it became for me something to focus on during a really tough time, something to put my energy into. So I had kind of dabbled in and out of weight loss before. Like, I've never really been happy with how I looked. I've been a bit of a binge. I am a binge eater. I should put like a trigger warning or something, like if you have a eating disorder or any issues surrounding that, please don't listen to this, because it's probably not the best thing for you to hear, and I'm not a health expert, and please don't follow my advice. Get advice from your doctor before you change your diet or anything like that. Okay, now let's get on. So previously I had done a plan called the 60-day fat loss revolution. Check them out on Instagram. So I'd done that kind of a couple of years ago, lost maybe half a stone, and then obviously put it all back on again plus more. And I really liked kind of their ethos. So basically you get a coach, they're a real person. My coach was called Mitch, and we'd message over Facebook kind of every day. He'd give me my stats. So the basis of that program is they give you your calories you can eat a day, your protein, and you have to hit a certain amount of steps. So I kind of tracked everything on MyFitnessPal, and then I've got a fitness watch anyway, so when you're riding and that, you pretty much hit the steps really easily. The thing that's tough is the protein. You don't realise how little protein you eat. So yeah, I signed back up for that, and the one thing I loved about it was they don't tell you what to eat, which for me is amazing, because as soon as something's labelled a bad food or someone tells me I can't do something, I have to go and do it. So if you say to me, Catherine, you can't eat that chocolate bar, then I will eat the chocolate bar, and I'll eat a whole pack of biscuits as well, just to prove a point. That's me. So within that I could eat basically whatever I wanted, as long as I stayed within my calories. So that for me was a really healthy way of doing it. I could still have my treats, I was still eating takeaways, but I was in a calorie deficit, and I was having to eat a little bit healthier because I had to meet these protein targets. And alongside that I joined the gym, because I had a lot of kind of emotions and things that I needed to vent out, and riding is not the place to be doing that. So I needed another form of exercise to do before I rode, because it's not fair for Goat to pick up on any of my emotions, although he probably did. So I rejoined the gym, and I love spin, so I was going spinning 2-3 times a week, which obviously really helps, but that's not like an essential thing. If you go on this page, they're not sponsoring this video, or they don't even know I'm doing it, but if you go on there and look at people's success, you can get it just through walking. They work on, I think it's called your NEAT, I don't know what it stands for, but basically you burn more calories in like your everyday life than you would going to the gym 3 times a week. So they try and encourage you to be more active in your everyday life rather than just working out. So yeah, I did that up until December, I think it was, and I was kind of following it in. At the start I was really dedicated, and then kind of December it ground to a little bit of a halt with everything that was happening again with my relationship. And then I kind of got to the point where I was like, I know what I'm doing now, I'm ready to fly the nest. So I haven't been following that plan since the start of the year, and I've lost I think in that time I've probably lost another 3 or 4 pounds, so just kind of the last little bit. And I don't, very helpfully, my camera cut out then. I can't remember the last thing I said. I think it was just, yeah, the 3 things that I did: calorie counting, increasing your steps, and increasing your protein. And I would like to stress that you don't need to do the whole online coach thing that I did. There's actually an app which I roughly use now, saved on my phone. It's called what is it called? Calculator.net macro calculator. So you can just put your height, your weight in, how much weight you want to lose, or whether you want to stay the same weight, and then it will churn out a number and tell you how many calories a day if you want to do it. So that is that. And then I had a question about how do I stay motivated, and for me what is, when I look back at old vlogs and old pictures, and I just think I was happy then. Like, don't get me wrong, I was happy. I didn't have any, I mean, I wasn't like, oh my god, I look amazing, but I was happy in myself. But I now look back and I just think I look so much better and healthier now, and I kind of cringe a bit when I see those photos about how much weight I had put on. and I would say my goals now are more not weight based, so I'm not actually really tracking massively anymore. Like I said, I just roughly know what I can and can't eat. I try not to weigh myself. My goals now are more kind of strength based. Like, I'd like to tone up a bit more and I want to get stronger. I've got like zero upper body strength. I tried to do a press up this morning, it was not good. So that's what keeps me motivated, is setting goals, moving towards them, and reflecting on where I was and how far I've come, and making sure that I don't kind of backtrack and get back in that place. But I would say that my whole relationship with food has completely changed now, and my relationship with myself. Oh god, this is getting really deep, but yeah, I've learned a lot about myself, particularly this year. And I would just say that I've become a lot happier person and a lot more comfortable with my own skin. Like, I posted a picture of me in workout gear the other day and I'd never have done that before. So yeah, a little bit of a glow up right here. And I think that is all the weight loss questions answered. And then I wanted to end on a really positive question. So somebody messaged me and said 3 things which make you happy every day. So I thought this would be a really nice one to end on, because with all the doom and gloom in the world right now, I think everyone should try and think of their 3 things which make them happy. So obviously the most obvious one is goat. He makes me happy every single day. He is my motivation to get out of bed through everything that's gone on in my life in the last 12 months. If it wasn't for having to get out of bed and go and muck him out, I probably wouldn't have. I'd probably have kind of moped around and been a lot worse. But yeah, he's been my rock through everything. He's just, oh, I just love him. He's amazing. So he's one of those things. Something else which makes me happy is my health. If you haven't seen my accident video, go and watch it. But I had a huge accident last year, which for me was the first time I'd ever been kind of incapacitated. No, I think that's when you get your head chopped off. Not that. Basically, when I couldn't really properly care for myself. I was stuck at home, all of that lot. So that made me really grateful for my health, and even more so now with everything that's going on in the world. Yeah, it's having your health is something that's really important and something we should all be grateful for. And then the last thing which makes me happy is food. No, I can't say that, can I? Maybe it's food, and it's also my friends, obviously. I have a really great group of friends. I don't have a group of friends. I have loads of individual friends that I've picked up from different kind of points in my life. So I've got a childhood friends that I went to college with, my police officer friends, my current work friends. So yeah, I have a real good mix of friends, and with everything that's going on at the moment, it's really pushed me to stay in contact with them, check they're okay. We've been messaging every day, FaceTiming, and it's just been so lovely, and it makes me feel really loved and really blessed to have such amazing people in my life who really have supported me loads, and they're a great bunch, obviously, because they're friends with me. But yeah, that will be the end of this video. I appreciate it's been a long one, so I really do hope that you drank your cup of tea and it's not gone cold by now, and that you found it interesting to know a little bit more about me. Again, it's really scary sitting here, just me in the camera lens, no goat, no nothing to hide behind. I'm just sat here talking to you, so it's not my usual type of video. The camera cut out again, and now hopefully I've edited it so this all is seamless. I think I was ending the video saying that the normal vlogs will be back soon, well, as normal as they can be. I've got quite a few kind of interesting videos lined up, because I hope to keep putting videos out so that people have got stuff to watch while they're at home in lockdown and isolating. And yeah, I'd love to know if you'd enjoyed this, and if you learnt something new about me. Please give me a comment down below. My Instagram handle is in the description as well, so if you're on Instagram, hop over there, because I do quite a lot of stuff on there. Please also subscribe. I've been doing this a year now. I've had loads of new subscribers in the last couple of days, so I'd really love to get to 200. I think last time I looked I'm on 177, so it's reachable. And yeah, take care everyone. As again with last week, as I said in last week's video, thinking of you, sending you all the love and best wishes, and we will see you in the next video.